Hey guys, welcome back to another reaction video. Today I'm reacting to 20 things to know before coming to Australia. Which, Australia, I'm sure it's on almost everyone's bucket list. Come on. Maybe? Yes? No? Okay. Anyway, that is what I'm watching today. Also, let me just show off my hairstyle. Excuse me, these freaking braids took the longest time, but I did them yesterday, so at least this morning I didn't have to wake up and start dealing with my curly hair. It's still got the curls out at the bottom though. Anyway, let's watch the video.
Thinking about traveling to Australia soon? Well, here's 20 things you need to know before you go.
Oh, that looks fun.
Hey guys, Chris from Stoked for Travel here, or welcome back to the channel. Now before I get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any video goodness. Now today we're going to talk about one of my favorite countries in the world, Australia. Now, over the last 10 years of bouncing around the globe, Australia is the country I've spent the most amount of time in. There's so many things to see, do, and experience here. Now, if you're busy planning your trip to Australia, here's 20 things that I think you need to know before you go to Australia. Everything from goon hangovers through to the best ways to travel, things you can't miss out on, little hints and tips that I've picked up along the way. So yeah, let's get started. Now, one of the most common mistakes everyone makes when traveling to Australia for the first time is underestimating the size of the country and the travel times and distances. There's over 2,400 kilometers between Sydney and Cairns on the east coast alone, so don't expect to be able to cram everything into 7 days. In fact, you'll need at least 3 weeks to cover Sydney to Cairns comfortably, ideally 4 to 6 weeks if you want to be a bit more flexible with your plans. And then of course there's heaps of other parts of Australia as well as the east coast, such as Northern Territory, the Red Centre, of course Western Australia as well. Bottom line on that one, guys, is don't expect to bounce between destinations in a couple of hours. You might need to take some internal flights as well. So yeah, don't underestimate your travel times.
I don't know where the East Coast is. I don't know where Sydney is or
Next up is the fact that goon is going to be your best friend, but also your worst enemy. Now, goon is the nickname given to the cheap box wine found out here in Australia, and it has horrendous hangovers. So why are you going to end up drinking it in the first place? Well, to put it in perspective, a 6-pack of beer in Australia is around about 18 to 20 bucks, and 5 litres of goon, so wine, 13%, is also going to set you back about $20. So if you're budget traveling around Australia, what do you think you're going to end up pre-drinking with? Yep, goon. Just beware of the horrendous hangovers, guys. You'll be in trippy dreams. I've done a whole other blog post on goon, so make sure you check out the links in the description below for that one. But yeah, goon, best friend, and also worst enemy. Another thing to keep in mind when you head to Australia for the first time is the fact there are quite a variety of bus options to choose from. Now, the most popular way of getting around Australia is the Greyhound passes. They do a hop-on, hop-off, and also a Wimmet pass. You've also got the Premier bus. It's slightly less flexible, but it is a lot cheaper. And then you've got things like Stray Australia, so it's kind of a semi-guided tour. And of course, you've got heaps of other options as well for getting around, such as camper van hire, car hire, and more. So yeah, make sure you look into your travel options and check out the crew from
when you're backpacking, the car hire is a bit expensive.
Now, another thing I recommend to everyone heading to Australia for the first time is do not overlook Western Australia. Yes, the East Coast is where a lot of the fun, crazy times are happening, things like Whitsundays and Fraser Island, but Western Australia is not to be missed. I camper van from Perth to Darwin along the west coast of Australia, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. You've got crazy places like the Pinnacles and Wave Rock. You've got wineries down at Margaret River, and of course spots like Coral Bay, Shark Bay, and Monkey Mire with wild dolphins as well. And of course you've got spots like Broome and Exmouth, incredible scuba diving with whale sharks and manta rays, and then you've just got the landscape in general. So yeah, if you want to make the most of Australia, don't miss out on WA. Now, one of my top tips for traveling to Australia for the first time is pencil in lots of time for Byron Bay. Now, if you've been following my adventures for a while, you know that Byron Bay is by far my favorite spot on the East Coast. So many awesome things to do here. This barefoot hippie town is full of incredible beaches and amazing surf. Make sure you check out my full guide to Byron Bay in the links below. And yeah, pencil in plenty of time for Byron Bay. Now, even though Byron Bay is my favourite stop along the east coast, Yamba is the hidden gem. This sleepy little beachside town sits a couple hours south of Byron, so it's a great place to stop off on the way up to Byron or on the way south down to Sydney. It's all about quiet vibes here, beach life and incredible surf. A lot of locals describe it as Byron 25 years ago, so if you're looking to explore a nice little quiet beachside town, Yamba's the place to head. Now, when it comes to the best things to do on the east coast of Australia, the two tours I recommend you don't miss out on are Fraser Island and the Whitsundays. Now, Fraser Island is the world's largest sand island, and here you can head out on a 4x4 tag-along tour, where you can cruise along the beach highways and through rainforest tracks.
Nice.
It's a really awesome option to do, and I definitely recommend the overnight camping tours, as you get to sleep under the stars and enjoy an amazing campfire. Now, when it comes to the Whitsundays, you've got those incredible views across Whitehaven Beach and Hill Inlet. And for me, the overnight sailing tours are the way to go. Sleep on a boat, doing some incredible snorkeling, and explore more of what these islands have to offer. Of course, if you are short on time or don't have the budget for the overnight options, there are amazing day trips there too. If you want more help finding the best Fraser Island and Whitsundays tours, check out the links in the description below. Now, for those of you who are looking to stay in hostels while you're traveling around in Australia, one word of advice, they do vary massively in both price and quality, so do your research before you book. There are plenty of incredible flash packer accommodation options all around the country that are a little bit more pricey but do have lots more facilities and comfort. And of course, there are some budget options that aren't so great as well. Best bit of advice I can give you on this is do your research and check out the reviews before you book. Now, the other thing that a lot of people tend to underestimate before traveling to Australia is how much it costs to travel in Australia. In fact, on my average budget for a backpacker, it works out about 109 Aussie dollars a day. But this does include all your amazing trips, tours, accommodation options, and food budget along the east coast as well. If you want more advice on that one, check out the link in the description below.
So what's the $109
That being
for?
said, though, it is totally worth it. And even though Australia is more expensive to travel than spots like Bali, Asia, Thailand, and places like that, it is definitely well worth it. So don't let that put you off. And even though Australia can be pretty pricey to travel around in, you can also earn heaps of money here on a working holiday visa. Now, for a lot of countries that can get a 12-month working holiday visa, you can expect to earn between $20 to $25 even for jobs like bartending or dishwashing.
Yeah, the minimum wage is so high.
It's pretty easy to make that bank, put it in your savings, and then expend it all on traveling afterwards. So yeah, if you can do a working holiday visa, make sure you get it done. And if you do your working holiday visa in Australia, make sure you claim back your tax and your superannuation. Now, both of these are really quick and simple to do online. I've left a link in the description below for my full guide. And with up to £3,000 as an average backpacker refund, you'd be stupid not to do it. And even if you're not keen on a working holiday visa, getting a tourist visa into Australia is relatively simple to do and usually free. I've left a link in the description below to the official Australian immigration site so you can check out your eligibility. But for most countries, it's easy enough to get a free visa online that is processed super quickly as well. So go check them out. Now, another thing people tend to overlook when planning their trip to Australia is, yes, it does get cold and Australia does have a winter. In fact, it can get pretty chilly in the southern parts such as Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney and Tasmania. So you might even have to pack a jumper for your Australia trip. Now, the Aussie winter runs through May to September, so be aware when planning your itinerary. That being said, though, the tropics in the north are amazing at that time of year as well, and places like Cairns, the Red Centre and Darwin in the Northern Territory are incredibly explored during the Aussie winter and to escape the colder climates. Now, one of my other top tips for traveling around Australia is campervanning is heaps of fun and is something you should definitely do.
I really want to
Sure, it's not as cheap and easy as things like the Greyhound passes, but campervanning is super fun, flexible, and who can beat a good road trip? So even if you just fit in a small road trip, such as the Great Ocean Road, which is a great one to do for like 3 or 4 days, or even your trip from Sydney up to Byron Bay is an awesome New South Wales road trip, it's definitely one trying to do if you can fit it into your plans. Now, also along the traveling side of things, keep in mind that it can be cheaper to fly in Australia than bus or camper van. And the most obvious option with this is if you're trying to get from the East Coast to the West Coast, so flying from like Cairns or Brisbane across to Perth or Darwin, that's definitely cheaper to fly. But it's also,
I think it's like that in quite a few countries.
Money. Now, you can easily get an overnight bus between Sydney and Byron Bay, but you can also fly from Sydney to Ballina and get there within just a few hours as well. And in actual fact, when you weigh it up against how much that takes off your bus pass as well, it can work out way cheaper to fly. Check out companies such as Virgin Australia and Jetstar for some awesome internal flights, but make sure you do your research and you could find out flying is the way to go.
New Zealand had Jetstar.
Now, when it comes to making the most of your money whilst traveling Australia, getting a package deal really does work out cheaper. If you were to book all your accommodations and your tours separately along the route independently, it definitely works out much more expensive than packaging it all together.
Package deals.
Sure, if you're traveling around Australia for a long period of time, say 6 to 12 months, you don't want to bundle in all your accommodation and keep your itinerary fixed. But you can bundle in all your tours together through people like RTW Backpackers. Their links in the description below, and it will save you heaps along the way. If you are coming out to Australia on a shorter period of time, say 2 to 3 weeks, putting together your itinerary and getting it all booked in advance definitely works out cheaper. So make sure you hit up the guys from RTW Backpackers and they'll hook you up with the best deal. And along those lines as well, it's worth pointing out there's so much to do in Australia, so make sure you do heaps of planning so you don't miss out on anything. Things like surf lessons, dolphin kayaking, Fraser Island, Whitsundays, Magnetic Island, Cape Tribulation, Cairns Waterfall, Sydney Harbour Bridge Climb, the Great Ocean Road, touring around Ayers Rock, feeding wild dolphins in Monkey Mile. There's heaps to see and do.
Oh, so
if you want to check out my full Aussie bucket list, the link's in the description below so you don't miss out on any of those awesome experiences.
How many links does he have?
And for scuba divers, it's worth pointing out that Australia is full of incredible diving, but not just at the Great Barrier Reef. Sure, the Great Barrier Reef is pretty awesome and it's definitely worth ticking off your scuba diving bucket list, but spots like Julian Rocks in Byron Bay, the SS Yacht Longala, Seal Rocks, and of course Ningaloo Reef are well worth checking out and getting under the water for too. So yeah, if you're scuba diving in Australia, make sure you check out all the awesome sites. Now, when it comes to making the most of your money in Australia, work for accommodation is by far the best way to save money on your travels in Australia. Now, work for accommodation is basically where you trade a few hours a day at a hostel for a free bed and also potentially some meals as well. I spent over 6 months doing that on my first trip to Australia and saved absolutely heaps. Not only did I get a free bed for the night, I also got a free nightly meal and a bar tab as well. So yeah, make sure you check out the hostel receptions, ask for work for accommodations and score yourself a sick job. In fact, it can work out even better than doing paid work. Now, one of my favorite little hidden tips about traveling in Australia is the fact there are free barbecues everywhere. Yep, totally free to use, and most of them have incredible beachside views as well.
Oh, to use? I thought they meant free food.
All they ask is you clean them up and leave them in a good state for the next traveler as well. So yeah, don't be that dude. Make sure you tidy up after yourself. And there you have it, guys. Those are my 20 things I think you should know before you head to Australia. Now, if you want any more info about traveling in Australia, make sure you check out the links in the description below from all my written guides. That includes everything from budgets, itineraries, to tour reviews and accommodation options as well. And of course, if you have any questions, chuck them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. So that's it for this week, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Phew.
Like, you know, when someone tells you like smile, when someone does take a picture of you, they like point the camera at you, and most people are like, I go. That's my social, what's it called? My lack of social awareness. Anyway, well, is that, I don't know if that qualifies under that, but anyway, yeah, going to Australia would be nice. It would be really nice. I have to save up for a while because I feel like it's not that expensive. Do you know what always like is expensive when you're traveling somewhere? Especially if you're coming from Africa, I feel most especially. The flights are super expensive. Like for me to fly from Zambia to Cyprus, it was like a return ticket, it was $700 and then $1,000, so $2,000 return, which is who my age has that kind of money? Probably like Mark Zuckerberg. How old is he? I have no idea. He's probably actually much older. He's probably older than me. I don't know. Yeah, he must. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Yeah, Australia would be really fun. When you guys like these free barbecues, I was like, free food, nice. I remember last year on the uni campus in New Zealand, they used to have free barbecues, like only for, not really only for uni students. They didn't ask for a student ID or anything, but like the student association would have like, what did they call them? I guess you could call them hot dogs, but it was just a sausage and a slice of bread. But I mean, it's pretty good. Imagine you're hungry, your flat is far away from campus, you don't have the energy to walk there, food is too expensive on campus, and then you just see a free barbecue. Who's not gonna do it? But yeah. What else will you talk about? Bus routes, that's nice. It's very, I see in Zambia, which is where I've spent most of my life, we don't really have very efficient bus routes. It's kind of like you just jump on the bus and tell the driver where you're going and he'll just drop you there. It's not really like there's a specific route. So when I first got to a developed country and now I'm like, these bus routes are just, oh my days, I was so confused. I was like on Google Maps, I was like on the app, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, how do I ask the driver to stop? Oh, there's a button. Okay, I'll press the button. Because I'm used to being like, you just tell the driver like, oh, I want to go to this mall, whatever, and he's going that route, so he'll just drop you there. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out, which I'm gonna assume these are very similar. Like, there's probably an online thing where you check them out. But yeah, also Australia has so much to do. Like, and the fact that it can be, he's saying like, he said something about it being cold, like winter. If you go up to the north, it's warmer. It's like two different climates. Yes, please. If I can escape winter. I used to think I was very much a winter person, but I think I like spring. I don't think I like summer or winter. I think a summer where it's not too, like when it gets above 25 degrees Celsius, like and when it gets below 15, that 15-25 interval, let's keep it there. When it's, oh my days, when it starts getting to like high 30s, I just can't. Like, how do people survive? No one's surviving. It's struggle. Anyway, yes, if I went to Australia, I would definitely stay in a backpackers, not a hotel. I'd look for all the cheapest option. I feel like this is definitely for backpackers. Like, well, not really. You don't really, like, this could be for people who are just planning a trip. He did mention a lot of different cities, and I'm not like geographically aware. I know like a couple of cities in Australia. Let me name some. Sydney, Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane. Oh my days, I was about to name a city in Hawaii. Anyway, as I was like about to say it, I was like, oh. I know some places in Australia. I'm just not like very much aware of where like they are. But hey, I can point out Australia on a map, which a lot of people apparently cannot do. So I'm one step ahead. Always one step ahead. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Bye bye.